Do you think some of that explains why you've always supported the underdog? That you...
Well, of course, that's part of it, certainly. Oh, they beat me, but I showed great courage all the time. I wouldn't back away. See? Unless I had a drunken bum like I remember that chased me. He chased me around the river. Jesus Christ, if he'd ever got a hold of me, he'd have killed me. He was a drunken bum, you know, a guy, a plain bum. He just had, how do they call that? He wanted to kill. He wanted to grab a hold of you and then they'd kill you, that's all.
With all of those experiences, you always had this idea that life could be better. Did you get it from reading books or what?
I didn't read that at all. I saw the way the others lived. I saw. We went out to look for some land. I remember father and mother always wanted to buy some land. And somebody talked them into buy some land in Bronzeville. In Bronzeville for $30 an acre. And father finally, we went out to, I was then about 6 years old, 7. I remember riding this bumps with a horse and wagon in Brooklyn. It was country. And now this is 90 years, 85 years ago. And father finally decided to buy 30 acres there for $30 an acre. And my father was against it from start. He says, who's going to be crazy enough?
He's just going to tell him to turn off the vacuum. You can keep talking because the camera's still working.
Father's going to be crazy enough to live on some crazy, why should they move away from here? You know,
yeah.
People are going to be crazy here. They've got places to live. That's enough, see. It was very slimy, no
yeah.
brains.
Yeah, we have a picture. Shall we show that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, we bought the 30 acres and we paid for the $1
Excuse me, I just want to show a picture of your father. This is that picture with Grandpa, and there you are. And there's your brother Max.
You gotta go slower, right?
This is, well, I'll begin here. Your brother Max and your father. What was his name?
Barish.
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 And there's
Benjamin.
This is you. And this is your younger brother Sam, and your brother Alex, and your brother Dave.
Fast.
That's right.
Okay, I'll do it slower next time.
So, anyway,
yeah.
we paid about 6 weeks $1, and then when they dropped it, my God, 30 acres is now East New York. It's worth $200 million. So I love that land. I loved to have an inclination. I saw, even in Troon School, I saw books with pictures of country and dogs and trains and flowers, and this has always fascinated me. You see on the wall certain pictures there. And the other was so terrible that we lived that anything was better. And then I had imagination myself, which comes to you with all right now. Then it all adds up where, my God, I did a big success in Winnipeg, and then Kayla was pronounced a great violinist. Everybody who heard her play Little Fiddle I bought for $50. I thought she would take lessons with that. I didn't know piano or that, and she took to the violin. And everybody told me that she plays better than any musician now. And she was then 6 or 7 years old.
Just wait till the plane passes. Can I put it here?
No, you're fine.
Yeah, the girls love me. Yeah, especially I could sing and I could dance.
Now, how old are you in that picture?
About 19, I think.
And mother is probably...
Mother's about 24 there, 23.
Yeah.
Very good-looking guy.
I was a very good-looking kid. When I came into a place when I was 16, here at this age here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I was a good-looking kid already. Dressed to kill, by comparison with others.
This is when you were 16, I guess.
I don't know, this one here.
This one right
Okay, just
here.
a minute. Which one?
This
very,
one.
very, very sweet looking, you know.
Sweet.
But you were nice to them
Right.
too. You were thoughtful and romantic.
Oh yes, always romantic, yes.
You still are.
Yes, right.
Why not, huh?
Yes, yes.
Um,
Well, now, do you want to drop Winnipeg?
well, will you tell us how you felt when you lost all your money in the Depression. That was
Oh
fun.
yeah, well I started, you know, I didn't have all the experience in the world, and I started investing in valuable properties. And I thought that one particular piece of property I bought was the finest piece of property in Winnipeg, a department store property on Main Street and Portage Avenue, Robinson Department Store. Remember that?
I don't remember, but that was before the Depression. You were just...
Well, I bought that and I paid $1,555,000, all cash for it.
This is when you were planning to retire, was
Yeah,
it?
well, I bought that and I said, well, we'll have that. It brings in $90,000 a year, bought it net free from all expenses. So I says, how much more do I want, you know? And I bought some other properties, I had income and so forth. And I started buying stocks, all kinds. I didn't know what the hell they were. You know, I bought stocks that people said to buy, and I bought stocks and bought cash and this, and I had bought $5 million. I bought the 2 buildings in Regina for $550,000, and then we retired. I started going to Europe. I sent Mother to Europe in 1927 first, you know, with Caleb. They were searching out for the best teachers for Kaylee, see. And she went, and from that time on, we started ready to retire, see.
Yeah.
I felt I had enough, you know. I was only 38 years old. See?
And you wanted Kayla to study the violin in Europe?
Yes, I had ambition for you to be a great writer. I had for Elaine Attias, a pianist. And Joe, we didn't know. Joe, I couldn't figure out what the heck he was going to do. See? I tried him to become a professional man, any kind of profession that suited him. I didn't want him to be no businessman.
Why not?
Well, because I thought there were so many trials and tribulations in business and heartaches and I went through. I didn't want him to have that. Professional man is always, as long as he got the price of a shingle, to put his name on it, he would always make a living for a wife and himself, see. And that's when I thought, you know, each one of my kids, I had a plan for them, at least in my own mind. I didn't tell them, but that's what I thought, see. So now, then we're ready, and I decided to quit, and then the 28th we went. There was a famous Yehudi Menuh's teacher in Persinger in San Francisco. I went out. I said, you go there, and Mother go anywhere I tell her. No, and she took the kids. And I says, I will come out there with chances I will live there, see. And while we're here and away, oh, I have to tell you this here. Did I tell you about the time that what the doctor told me?
About your father?
Huh?
About your dad? No.
About me, about... I was so busy at that particular time. I was in this about 7 different businesses. I finally broke down mentally, okay? I had a mental breakdown. So I went to Dr. Hunter, who was the biggest doctor there, and I come in and I tell him, Doctor so-and-so, he said, why don't you go, you've got so many wonderful, your business, well, your people. I said, I don't understand you. What you know, he's a Scotchman. He says, you've got good doctors, why don't you go to them? So when he told me that, I felt like hitting him over the head, you know. He's an anti-Semitic son of a bitch. But nevertheless, he was the best doctor there. And I said, look, doctor, I don't want to get into no argument with you about this. I'm amazed that you, a professional man, take an attitude like that. But I said, look, I'm here. Will you please examine me, because I had a nervous breakdown. So he examines me, and he says, come tomorrow again. I came again, and he says, well, he says, now, Mr. Mitchell, he said, I think if you took off a year, you might regain your health back again. Quit all your businesses. And I I says, doctor, I can't quit my business. They all depend on me. I haven't got no time to take a, he says, you have no time, eh? He said, Mr. Mitchell, have you ever been in the cemetery? I said, yes. He says, how is it that you, busy businessman, can't find time to live, but you can find time to die and lay dead a hell of a long time? I says, is it as serious as all that? He said, yes. Yes. He says, you know, you've had a good example of yourself. He says, I can't do anything for you if you don't want to do it for yourself. So I phoned him, I left him, and I phoned up my mother, and I said, Anna, pack up my grips, I'm going away. She didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I said, I gotta go away, and I said, I just simply gotta get away from all this, and I said, and she didn't bat an eye. I gave powers of attorney to everybody, you know, it was 1925. And I take a train to go down to Vancouver, but the original intention was to go. I never saw it. Then I come to Vancouver and I got a lot of friends there. We got talking with people. And I went to Vancouver Islands, stayed there about a week, and they talked me and the boys in Vancouver, why don't you go to the Hawaiian Islands? I told them about this. I said, that's a good idea, but in the meantime I went over there. I bought tickets for Hawaiian Islands, and
Was Mother with you?
no, mother. I had to go by myself.
Right,
I had to
right.
get back to, you know, I just didn't have to, I didn't want nobody to bother me to anything. Now, I'm going on the boat from Vancouver Islands to the United States. I brought in 4 bottles of Scotch whiskey. It wasn't at that time you couldn't bring in a whiskey. But I brought them in. It was stupid. Like that, I walk in, and there's this kind of walked in, I had them underneath my coat. I got away with it. Now I get the boat to go to San Francisco to catch another boat to go to Hawaiian Island. On that boat, I meet up with a big, powerful Swede. He's an old, rustabout sailor, traveling around the world. I was given this whiskey and we're drinking, and a captain, a retired captain of the American steamship lines. He's retired. And I tell him what my trouble was, and I says, I don't know what to do. They says, we'll join you. These 2 guys. You'll join me? I says, fine. We know all the islands, you know, the South Sea Islands, and I read, you know, by that time I already read Jack London, the Strip of the Snark, and all these people.
Conrad.
Yeah, I all read, you know, about it. And I said, oh, okay, we'll buy a boat and we'll buy some knickknacks and trade them in with the natives on the islands, and we'll go on that boat. We can buy a boat for $30,000, $40,000 in San Francisco. And I said, okay. I was really worth a lot of money.